Three major shifts happen in your body after 40 that change everything about how weight loss works for your body. The first one is muscle loss. Starting in your mid-30s and accelerating through your 40s, your body begins losing muscle mass at a rate that is genuinely alarming when you understand what it means for fat burning. See, muscle is metabolically expensive tissue. Your body has to burn calories just to maintain it, even when you're sitting still, even when you're sleeping. So as muscle quietly slips away year after year, your daily calorie burn drops with it. That's why you can be eating the exact same food you ate at 30 and exercising the same amount, and you'll still gain weight because the engine running in the background has gotten smaller. The second shift is recovery. After 40, your body takes longer to bounce back from hard exercise. Inflammation sticks around, fatigue compounds. So what a 25-year-old body could absorb and recover from in 24 hours might take your body at 45, 3 or 4 days. That's not weakness, that's biology. But it matters enormously for which exercises are actually helping you versus which ones are slowly dragging you down. And the third shift is what stress hormones do to your body after 40. Cortisol, your primary stress hormone, has an increasingly powerful relationship with belly fat storage as you age. High cortisol tells your body to hold on to fat, particularly around your midsection. And the cruel irony is that intense, excessive exercise raises cortisol. So the harder you push trying to burn fat, the more your body can actually be primed to store it. So really, when you think about it, after 40, the goal is no longer to burn the most calories in a single workout. The goal is to build a body that naturally burns more calories around the clock. That single shift in thinking changes everything. Okay, let's get into the 5 exercises I want you to stop doing. Number 1, endless treadmill cardio. I know this one. I lived this one. The logic feels completely unbreakable, right? If I get on this treadmill every single day and burn 500 calories, the fat has to come off. It's just math. Except it's not just math because your body is not a calculator. Your body is a survival machine, and it adapts. Here's what happens with too much steady-state cardio over time. First, it does almost nothing to preserve your muscle mass. You're burning calories during the session, yes, but you're not sending your body any signal to hold onto or build muscle. Second, it ramps up fatigue, particularly when you're already dealing with slower recovery times after 40. Third, and this one surprises a lot of people, sustained cardio can actually stimulate hunger in a way that causes many women to eat back every calorie they burned and then some. And over months and years of relying on the treadmill as your primary fat loss tool, you end up with less muscle, a slower metabolism, and a body that has actually adapted to become more efficient at that exact cardio, so you burn fewer calories doing it anyway. The better alternatives here are walking, which is low stress and genuinely powerful, strength training, and strategic intervals used occasionally, not daily. Number 2, daily HIIT workouts. This one is harder to let go of because HIIT genuinely does work. It burns fat, it's time efficient. Every fitness account you follow posts HIIT content. And in your 20s, doing HIIT 5 or 6 days a week might have been totally fine. But after 40, daily HIIT is a very different story. Your recovery capacity has changed, so when you hammer your body with high-intensity work day after day, you're not giving your system enough time to repair and rebuild. What happens instead is a buildup of fatigue and a creeping elevation of stress hormones that persists between sessions. Poor sleep often follows because your nervous system is running hot, and poor sleep, as you may already know, is one of the fastest ways to increase fat storage and decrease your body's ability to lose it. I want you to really sit with this. A workout is not burning fat if your body cannot recover from it. Recovery is where the actual results happen. The workout is just the stimulus. If the stimulus is too frequent and too intense, you never get the results because you never get the recovery. 1 to 2 HIIT sessions per week after 40 can be genuinely effective. 5 to 6 is working against you. Number 3, hundreds of crunches trying to target belly fat. Ugh. This one. We've all been there. Something feels a little softer around the middle, hormones shift the way fat distributes itself, and suddenly we're on the floor doing crunch after crunch, trying to fix the specific area that bothers us. The thinking makes sense emotionally, but the science just doesn't back it up. Spot reduction, the idea that you can lose fat from a specific area by exercising that area, does not work that way. Crunches strengthen the muscles underneath your belly. They build abdominal muscle, but they do essentially nothing to remove the fat sitting on top of those muscles. The fat you lose comes from your body as a whole, based on your overall energy balance and hormone environment, not from whichever muscle you happen to work that day. And here's what makes this particularly frustrating for women over 40. The real drivers of belly fat accumulation after 40 are things like low overall muscle mass, hormonal shifts, and changes in how your body handles insulin and blood sugar. So no amount of crunches addresses any of those root causes. Full body strength training, on the other hand, does. Movements that work your entire body build more muscle, improve insulin sensitivity, and create a better hormonal environment for fat loss. Now, here's what you really need to keep in mind when it comes to strength training. The muscle is not actually built during the workout. It is built afterward, when your body repairs the tissue. And the one thing your body needs most to do that repair is protein. See, most women over 40 are eating nowhere near enough of it. And the meals that are easiest to grab, the cereal, the toast, the snack bar, give them almost none. So they train hard and then quietly starve the very muscle they're working so hard to build. This is the reason why we created the Menopause Protein Bundle. It is the done-for-you eating side of everything we are talking about today. High-protein breakfasts that actually feed muscle repair and steady your blood sugar, lunches and dinners built for a body after 40, and yes, even desserts and smoothies that hit your cravings without the crash. Every recipe is ready in about 10 minutes. There is nothing to track and nothing to count, and every single one is designed to fuel the muscle your workouts are trying to build. You just open it and cook. So please, check out the link in the description, because this could be the moment your training finally starts paying you back. The moment all that effort shows up as a firmer middle and a metabolism that works for you around the clock, instead of work that never quite turns into results. Number 4, using light weights for endless high reps. This is maybe the most pervasive piece of outdated fitness advice aimed at women, and it has kept so many of us spinning our wheels for years. The idea goes something like this. Use tiny weights, do tons of reps, and you'll get toned without getting bulky. And women of our generation were basically handed this framework as the definition of appropriate female exercise. Here's the reality. Muscle tone, the thing we're all actually after, that firm, defined look, comes from having muscle present under the skin. And you build muscle by giving your body enough resistance to actually challenge the tissue and force adaptation. Picking up weights that feel like absolutely nothing and doing them for 100 reps is not challenging your muscles enough to stimulate meaningful growth. It's just a lot of movement without a lot of result. Years of light weights and high reps leaves many women with minimal muscle development, which means a slower metabolism, less structural support for joints, and a body that has very little of the metabolically active tissue it needs to burn fat efficiently. And I want to address the fear directly because I know it's there. The muscle you're afraid of building is the exact thing that helps your body burn fat. Women do not have the hormonal environment to accidentally become bodybuilders from picking up heavier dumbbells 3 times a week. But they do have the potential to completely transform their body composition by giving their muscles a real reason to grow. Use weights that feel moderately challenging. Weights where the last few reps of your set require genuine effort. That is what actually moves the needle. Number 5, marathons. Doing more and more and more. I see this pattern a lot. A woman decides she's serious about losing weight, so she signs up for a 90-minute class every morning, maybe doubles up with an evening session a few times a week, and goes hard on the weekends too. More exercise equals more results, so maximum exercise should equal maximum results, right? This is where things fall apart in a very specific way after 40. That level of volume without adequate recovery creates a cascade of problems. Burnout, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. poor recovery that makes every subsequent workout less effective than the last, and significantly increased hunger because your body is desperately trying to compensate for the energy deficit you're creating, often leading to eating patterns that erase the caloric effort entirely. The women I've seen make the most dramatic and sustainable changes to their bodies after 40 are almost never the ones doing the most exercise. They're doing focused, intentional workouts of around 30 to 45 minutes that they can actually recover from and repeat consistently over months and years. Consistency over intensity, sustainability over extremism. That's what actually works long term. So now that we've talked about what to stop doing, let's talk about what actually works after 40, because I'm not here just to tear things down. I want to give you the framework that replaced all of this for me. The foundation is building muscle through strength training, movements like squats, rows, push-ups, deadlifts, and step-ups. These are the compound exercises that work multiple muscle groups simultaneously, send the strongest possible signal to your body to maintain and build muscle tissue, and have the most significant impact on your long-term metabolic rate. You don't need to become a power lifter. You need consistent, progressive strength work 2 to 4 times a week. Layer in walking, genuinely underrated, deeply underused by women who are convinced they need to be drenched in sweat for exercise to count. Walking is a low-stress movement that burns calories without raising cortisol, without requiring significant recovery, and without competing with your strength training. It's something you can do daily without it working against you. And then treat recovery like it's part of the program, because it is. Sleep, protein intake, hydration, and actual rest days are not optional extras. They are where the results happen. Skimping on any of them undermines everything else you're doing. Here's the mental shift I want to leave you with, because I think it's the most important thing in this entire video. In your 20s, you could often outwork a bad plan. You had the recovery capacity, the muscle mass, and the hormonal environment to absorb a lot of punishment and still get results. That is simply not the reality after 40. And it's not a sentence, it's not a punishment, it's not something to grieve. It's just information. Because here's what is also true after 40. The women winning with their health and their bodies are not the ones grinding themselves into the ground 6 days a week. They're the women who understand how their body actually works now. They preserve their muscle, they manage their stress, they recover properly, and they stop chasing the most painful, exhausting option because they understand that option is no longer the most effective one. You have more control here than you think. You just might need to let go of the approach that felt like it should work and pick up the one that actually does.